It's good morning. How's it going? It's been a minute since I've made one of these, and I apologize. Just been busy. Just been busy doing other things, creating other content, trying to find the balance of the content that I want to create. What things do I want to do on a consistent basis? What things do I want to do more rarely? That kind of thing. For whatever reason, and maybe I just need to load up Audacity. I feel like my mic is so much hotter going into my streaming PC than it is my gaming PC. And for whatever reason, just lately, my gaming PC mic has just been hot. Like, I don't usually get into the red with OBS, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, my levels just started going into the red. And I'm not peaking. I feel like my audio signal it's definitely sharp on my streaming PC. And that's probably just like one of the worst things to try and troubleshoot is like, okay, why does my quality sound this way on this PC and not, it's the same signal, just getting split to two different places. But I digress. What I wanted to talk about today was French press coffee. No, I'm just kidding. I really wanted to talk about internet drama, and not so much that I want to talk about drama, but I want to talk about, I don't know, I just feel like I just like need to get something off my chest, just like something that I've had on my mind regarding drama. However, I did recently start using my French press again. Oh man, one of my fans. So as you may or may not know, the fans on my graphics card died. I accidentally broke a fan blade by sticking my finger in one of the fans, and then coincidentally, another fan followed up with its death. So I had to take two ordinary computer case fans and electrical tape them to my graphics card. So what I had to do is I had to get a PWM splitter so that I could control the speed of the fans with my motherboard, and they're just on high pretty much all the time because my graphics card, it runs pretty hot. And I just noticed now that one of the fans is starting to slip. My plan was that by now I would have had my GPU mounting bracket for the graphics card so that I could use my Kraken with my graphics card and then go to air cooling for my CPU. But that cooler has been out of stock everywhere. The case that I've wanted to upgrade to has been out of stock everywhere. The fans that I also would like to upgrade to have also been out of stock. Computer parts has just been an absolute cluster F lately, and it's not been fun. But thankfully, the computer works. The streaming computer works. This camera works. This microphone, it all works. So life is okay. So I'm just being a princess about it is all. I have been doing a podcast for coming up on 4 years. The Crocs and Hot Pockets anniversary, I believe, is sometime in July or August. So there will be the start of its 4th year. And for a while, we had a little bit of a format where the second half of the show was always dedicated to news, where I would just comb Twitter, blog posts, drama YouTube channels, and I would just find topics that I wanted to talk about, or that I at least wanted to talk about with my friends so that I could get their opinion on. And it was such an archaic way of doing a podcast. Like, yeah, I'll just read headlines and then we'll all just give our opinions on it. And sometimes we would go through 2 headlines, and then some other times we would go into 7 or 8 headlines, really just kind of blasting through them with no real substance or quality. It was just kind of just reading words and then giving our opinions, which at that time our opinions weren't that great. French press, man. The acidity. And then I kind of got away from that. So we've obviously have had some personnel changes since the beginning of the podcast. I am the only original member of the podcast since it started, which obviously to a point makes sense because at the end of the day, it is my podcast, and I invited other people on. But we've had quite a few changes over the years, and we're at a point now, and I don't want to say that the podcast is in its best time now. I think from a consumer, from a content consuming perspective, I think the podcast is its best. Topics are kept to a certain amount of time. The topics are chosen. The conversations are authentic. The guests are people that I genuinely want to talk to and learn from. Whereas before, it was just hit record, find some things to talk about, talk shit for 2.5, 3 hours, and just see what happens. And now there's kind of more form to it. So I never want to say that the podcast is better now, because there are moments and events that have happened in the earliest stages of the podcast that are absolutely amazing. There's amazing memories, hilarious times. The people that I shared the podcast with then are still some of my absolute best friends, and I love. So I always caution it saying that the podcast is better nowadays, but the quality of the show, and how the time is now being constrained and the topics are being chosen. It is a really good listen, in my opinion. I think I, as a host, have really grown. I think both of my guests, Bishop's only been on it for a certain amount of time, but Jimmy especially has just done a fantastic job, kind of like fulfilling a role. I don't see Jimmy and Bishop as guests anymore. I see them as hosts. They both do an amazing job hosting. I have found myself being able to kind of sit back and just kind of let them go sometimes, which has been awesome to kind of like see them bloom. I feel like a proud father, even though Jimmy's old enough to be my dad. I love you, Jimmy. But I've always tried to stay away from being a drama podcast where every week we are reacting to the drama flavor of the week. I have always done my best to try and look at a subject matter and say, okay, instead of just talking about this drama, which is not going to land us anywhere in a week's time, how can we have a constructive conversation about this topic that will provide value for myself, conversation for the people that I'm sharing the show with, and then either value or advice for the people that are listening? Are we able to have a conversation about that and then have value afterwards? Or are we just going to talk shit and just get loud and make jokes and like have all of this emotion about this topic, and then it's going to be gone? It's going to be gone in a couple weeks, and then it's not going to fucking matter. I've tried to stay away from those topics. And most recently, we had a podcast with Jimmy and Middle Age Stream. Jesus. With Middle Age Stream and Bishop. And we very, very briefly touched on the subject of this Twitch advisory safety privacy council that had just been formed recently, and certain members of that council kind of acting out irrationally or brashly. That's not really a word. Just acting out in an odd way that set a lot of people off. And because this person was transgender, and because they were kind of, I said that they were weird on the podcast, but I don't like using that word when I describe somebody. They're just different. There are people who are just different from you, personality-wise. There's like their morals, their mantras, their vibe. They're just different, and the way that this person is different from the majority of people. And again, nothing bad, nothing wrong. The message that they are pushing for in their new chair of power is what is making a lot of people upset. And again, I don't really want to get into it, because do I think I can have a constructive conversation about it that will bring value to the end consumer? No, I don't. Mainly because the world of genders and sexual identity is something that I know absolutely nothing about. I'm a straight white male living in America. Like, I have the least amount of understanding of what marginalized groups of people go through, what minorities go through. For it's not my choice, but by chance, I have probably the easiest life out of anybody, and I realize that. I'm a white male. Like, as far like if you put everybody on a scale, as far as like people who probably have it easiest and have to go through life with the least amount of resistance, it's probably me. Well, not me, but the people I am. So you get what I'm saying. I hope that doesn't really offend anybody, but that's just how I feel. And I try to keep that in mind. I try to keep that at the forefront of my mind to always remember, dude, as hard as you think you have it, like the things that you go through on a day-to-day basis that you take for granted, like people have issues with. But again, I digress. Where do you draw the line as a content creator and as a, I don't know, content participator, I guess you would say? Every week I have the struggle going through topics of what do I want to talk about, because there is such a never-ending cycle of drama. It is always there. It is always prominent. Unfortunately, it's always the focus. And for obvious reasons, drama is what everybody wants to talk about. It sparks good conversation. It sparks bad conversation. It sparks interest. When people hear about controversial topics being talked about, people are drawn to the people who are talking about it. And because everybody has a hot take, and then there's all these like rash and irrational responses, and then the responses to those responses. And I've been watching Twitter unfold and unravel, rather, in the past couple of weeks about so many different topics about whether it's okay or not to use emotes in another channel. Again, a topic do I want to talk about? I know how I feel, and I talked about this on stream a couple days ago. There are people who are very, very insensitive. No, excuse me. There are many people who are sensitive to self-advertisement. Like me. I don't allow anybody to just post that they're going live in my Discord in any channel at any time. We have a designated channel where if you choose to share out the content that you're creating, you can. And if people are looking for new creators to watch, they know where to go in the Discord. That's obvious. To a certain point, you have to disallow self-promotion. Sorry, I'm just looking at the time. This might be a longer video. When it comes to Twitch chat, I don't care if somebody says something like, just got done streaming. I'm about to go stream. I have this stream planned later in the week. Doesn't bug me. Whenever I see somebody's emotes in chat, my first thought is, that's a dope emote. Where did that come from? Who has that? It's a genuine sense of interest when I see an emote that I don't recognize. But for some reason, there's a lot of people out there that are like, you know what? No, it's not okay to use your own emotes in other people's chat. It all depends on the context. Like, I have emotes that are hi and what's up. So naturally, when I go into somebody else's chat and I don't really feel like being talkative, I will use the hi or what up. And of course, let's not be unrealistic. Using emotes that you're proud of, it does garner some attention. It does have people focus on you. If you're constantly just using your own emotes over and over and over and out of context, and you're just being spammy, yeah, you're kind of a dick. You're not contributing to the show or the chat or any of the conversation that's going on. You're just kind of spamming whatever. I understand that. To me, and I saw a lot of kind of old timer streamers, they're like, sorry, like I've always thought that it was rude to use your own emotes in somebody else's channel unless you knew them or unless you guys were friends. And I'm sorry, but some of those old ways, they just die. And you know what else used to be okay? Plastering your stream on subreddits and forums like Summit and Lyric and I almost said Towlet. Towlet? Towley. like all those dudes and dudettes used to do. They all used to do that. They all used to just go to websites, forums, Facebooks, and just post their link, Reddit's like, hey, I'm streaming. That's not allowed anymore. So things change. I mirror the sentiment that I've seen so many times on Twitter. If somebody else's emote in your chat is enough to remove a viewer from your stream, your content probably sucks. And you probably need to create better content. And I say your content sucks in the nicest way possible. It's just a little bit of motivation for you to put a little bit more work into it. Same thing with saying, hey, sorry, I'm out of here. I'm streaming. When you're a streamer, does it kind of make you feel shitty? Absolutely. But I'm sorry. Grow up. This idea that like, oh, this is my channel. This is my absolute safe space. And there should be no negative vibes here ever. Like, shit's going to get shitty sometimes. Okay? Things are just going to be 100% peachy, sunshine and rainbows all the time. People are going to talk out of line. Just like people talk out of line in real life. You know what you do? You fucking acknowledge it. You address it if you need to, and you move the fuck on. I'm not going to sit here and grovel over people that come into my channel and self-advertise. If I could go back and if somebody could put a microscope on all the times that I used my own emote in somebody else's chat or said, hey, I'm going to stream. It happens. Everybody's done it. Grow up. It'll be fine. If that is the thing that you worry about on a day-to-day, and quick little rant. This is a quick little complaining about stuff that I can't drives me absolutely insane. One of the negatives about social media. People that take every negative interaction that they have with somebody, like somebody comes into their chat and says something rude, and then of course the streamer screen caps it and tweets like, just public service announcement. Don't be like this person. Can you imagine if we all did that in our regular day-to-day lives? Took just every negative interaction that we had somebody and just like broadcasted it to everybody? It's so exhausting. God, you're so fucking exhausting to talk to and be around. But anyway, that's my super quick rant thing. But yeah, the whole premise of this morning's video was kind of a mini rant. Kind of just I wanted to talk because for the past like 3 days that I've been walking, because I've been doing early morning walks, that's just one thing that I could not shake. I couldn't stop thinking about like, man, social media is great. Being a streamer, awesome. Having friends that use social media who are also streamers, also awesome. However, fuck, it is exhausting to be on. And you really have to be careful about the things that you engage in. I've done my best to just stay away from the Twitch Council conversation. I've stayed away on social media for the most part regarding the emo conversation, the self-advertising, because I sit there and I'll be like working or I'll be like watching YouTube videos or whatever, and then I will see people that I follow get into these conversations with other people on Twitter. And it's just like back and forth, talking about these subjects, talking about their perspectives, blah, blah, blah. And all I can think of is like, in a week from now, what will you have gained from spending these countless hours arguing on social media? What are you going to gain? Are you going to gain more perspective? Are you going to gain any value? Are you going to gain any substance? Do you have any sort of takeaway that you can move forward with? Or are you just mindlessly arguing on social media with no real purpose? Because it's so easy to fall into that. When you're out there in the internet world, try to evaluate a conversation before you jump into it. What's going to be the purpose of this conversation? What kind of experience am I going to have? What am I going to come out the other end with? And then maybe you'll be able to have some better conversations, or maybe you'll just be able to avoid the shit conversations. And you'll just feel better day to day because you're just not getting into that dumb shit. Boba just walked in. This video is kind of ranty. And I felt like when I started it, I had a good plan to get to a certain spot where I would feel good about it. I kind of don't feel good about this video after talking about it for so long. Hopefully it made sense. So I understand that now. I understand that it was kind of like whiny, kind of complainy, but yeah, maybe I just kind of needed that. Maybe that's what I needed. It's just some French press coffee, some CDN the Third, Deep Rock Galactic, and a little whining. I gotta go. It's Friday. It's 60 degrees. This doesn't make sense. It's 60 degrees right now, and it's going up to 65 degrees. It's 6 a.m. It's only going to go up 5 degrees from... Anyways. Yeah, it's the weekend. Got some streams planned for Saturday and Sunday morning. I plan on building some shelves. I'd like to play some more video games. Obviously, who doesn't want to play video games this weekend? It's a holiday weekend. I have Monday off of work, which I'm super stoked about. I'm very stoked to have a day off of work, and yeah, and then it's another week, and hopefully we can get back on track. I kind of fell. Oh my God, sorry, Boba. I kicked him in the face. I kind of fell off waking up early for a couple days. I woke up at 7 o'clock 2 days in a row, and I also fell off on meditating. So I've been getting back on that train this week and trying to, again, solidify this routine. And yeah, just still trying to find the balance, trying to find the balance between morning videos, the podcast, the stream, gaming highlights, Crocs and Hot Pockets highlights, little clips for social media, trying to find that rhythm. I've been really auditing my content release schedule. So I have a Google Doc that has Monday through Sunday, all of the content that I try to aim to release every single day on all the different platforms. And I've been trying to find what's a good amount of content that I can commit to. And we're getting there. I think the next morning video, I'm going to talk about streaming again after a 3-month break, and now streaming for almost to 2 months. It's actually kind of crazy to think that I've been back at this for 2 months already. It's crazy to think about that I had a break. Like, thinking about not streaming for 3 months, it feels like it didn't happen. It's super odd. But anyways, it's been 22 minutes. I'm going to let you go. Thank you very much for tuning in with me on this beautiful Friday morning. I hope that you have an awesome Friday. I hope that you have an awesome week. I hope to see you sometime in the stream. I feel like I haven't been live in years because I didn't stream on Wednesday because my OBS has been broken, and that's a story for another day. But anyways, I'm going to let you go. You have a wonderful, wonderful day. Thank you. I'll see you soon, okay? I got to stop this. Bye.